everybody, my name's Kate Stockings and today I'm joined by Sasha to find out about the Round Britain Climate Challenge. You might know a little bit about the challenge already, or this might be the first time you're hearing about it, but don't worry, in this video we're going to set the scene, tell you a little bit more about it, and then there'll be plenty of information that comes in our videos to follow over the next few weeks. So Sasha, tell us about yourself, tell us about the challenge, and what is the Round Britain Climate Challenge?
So I am a UN ambassador for migratory species. I was known as the human swan for flying 3,500 miles from the Russian Arctic to the UK following the Buick Swan. And recently I've decided to take on a new challenge, which is to fly all around the coast of Britain in an electric powered paramotor and try not break a new world record.
Wow, an electric powered paramotor. Why is that so important if the challenge is all about climate change?
Well, firstly, the key thing is that we all now have to, if we're all going to tackle climate change, we need to think about decarbonising. And one way that we can do that is by switching from uses of fuels to electric and renewable energy. So that's what I'm going to try and do. There's new developments in powered flying machines, so I'm going to test that on a really long distance journey. And the longest distance journey I could come up with in Britain was to fly all the way around Britain.
That's quite a long way.
That is quite a long way. We've got quite a few weeks to do it, but we really hope we'll get help from people all around the country where we'll stop and land and the team can camp and refuel. So it is a long way and it's a long journey, but we're hoping that lots of people around the country are going to help.
And is it, you say you're going to stop off, where are you going to stop off? Who are you going to speak to and what are you going to do when you stop at each different point?
So because I have to stop and land frequently to change my batteries and to recharge them, I'll be able to stop and speak to people everywhere who can give us real tangible examples of how climate change is affecting them. It might be about coastal erosion, it might be about having to change the way they farm, how they produce food, it might be about flooding and drought. So we'll have lots of really local examples, but we're also going to find people who've got great ideas for how we solve the climate crisis. And some of those might be, again, on farms, some of those might be about things we can do in our homes, some of those might be great business ideas so we can change the way that business runs.
So what's the link between Conservation Without Borders and the Round Britain Climate Challenge? How comes you decided to investigate a bit more about climate change?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One of them is that on my last expedition with the Buick Swans from Russia, there are lots of different impacts on the birds in different countries. But the one thing that was obvious was that climate change was making all of the different problems in different countries worse. So actually climate change was the piece that we hadn't understood was so important. So that's one of the reasons I've decided to do something about it. And the other reason is that last year my family and I were one of the unlucky ones to lose our house in the Australian bushfires. So after that incident, we just decided we really wanted to do something more about it.
Excellent. And you mentioned this world record. I know the students I teach would love to be involved in a world record. So what is the record you're trying to break?
The first world record is to be the first person to fly a full circumnavigation of mainland Britain in a paramotor and in electric paramotor, but there's actually a second world record as well.
Can you tell us about the second world record? Is that where we could get involved?
That is where you could get involved. So the second world record is trying to get as many people as possible to take action on climate change through something called Count Us In. And that's where anybody that signs up to take action on climate change in the month while we're doing the expedition could be part of breaking a Guinness World Record and get their own Guinness World Record certificate for doing so.
Fantastic. We'll definitely find out more about that in another video coming up. But for now, can you tell us a little bit about why we need this challenge to take place this year in 2021 and why you're so keen to do it?
Well, we have to do it this year because the UK is hosting the biggest global climate change conference. It's called UN COP26 and it's in Glasgow. And so this is a year where we're going to be bringing together countries from all around the world to talk about tackling climate change. So we really need the whole country to be backing what the UK can do about it. That's why it's really important this year.
I suppose you've already answered my last question, but my last question for our introductory video would be, if there was one thing that you could wish to come out of COP26, what would it be? What would you like to see achieved when you've done your journey, you've done this massive challenge, and the Conference of the Parties has happened, all those governments have met together? What would you like to see happen?
I would like, do I just have to have one? I would like for the whole of the UK to be inspired and to rally around really ambitious actions on climate change, that the governments that are there know that not only the UK but the whole world are behind them in making really big changes, the really big changes that we need. But we can't rely on just the governments. It needs all sorts of people, and it needs young people to be backing it as well. So I'd like that we can do the journey, hear from lots of young people and old, and take all those messages to COP26 so we can inspire a lot of national leaders.
Great, thank you. And hopefully lots of young people are either watching this video today or will go and watch it in the future. And for anyone who's thinking this sounds excellent and they'd like to be involved, our next video is all about how you can become involved with your class, with your school, or as an individual. So watch out for that to find out about our resources, our competition, and how you can engage with Sasha's journey as it takes place. Thank you.